Hello and welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm Darkbloom, and today we're going to be talking about the upcoming shooter Delta Force. It was called Delta Force Hawk Ops, but I think they realized how dumb that sounds, and now it's just Delta Force. Delta Force is an upcoming free-to-play first-person shooter, basically in the vein of Battlefield. It is on PC, consoles, and mobile. Yep, it has a mobile port. There is apparently a whole series of Delta Force games, which I've never heard of until now. Delta Force recently had an open beta, and I got the chance to play it. So I figured I'd give you guys my impressions of the game. I didn't play too much of it. I have maybe 4 hours in the game altogether, but I played enough to have an impression of it, so we're going to talk about it. On its upcoming release, Delta Force has 3 separate game modes. It has the campaign, Havoc Warfare, and Tactical Turmoil. The campaign is reportedly inspired by the movie Black Hawk Down, which actually has me kind of excited to play it because honestly I really enjoy that movie, so I'm excited to see their interpretation of it. Next up is Havoc Warfare, and this is the Battlefield mode of the game. This mode will resonate with any Battlefield player probably ever. The moment you drop in, everything's going to seem somewhat familiar to you if you played a Battlefield. There are a couple game modes at launch, but only in the beta I played there was just attack defense, and it was pretty fun, basically a breakthrough. A wide variety of weapons to choose from. There's classes, each have their own unique purposes and specializations. There is hero elements to this, like when you pick a class and a character, they have a special ability, and I kind of don't like that, kind of like how I don't like that in Battlefield fucking 2042. However, in Delta Force, that mechanic is way less invasive than say Battlefield 2042, but it still kind of makes me scratch my head. I don't really like that. Like, if you're making a game to compete with Battlefield, why would you take the most controversial component from Battlefield 2042 and put it into your game? It makes no sense to me, and it kind of has the same effect as it does in Battlefield 2042. But at least with Battlefield 2042, at least the movement is smooth and fluid, which we'll talk about here in a minute with Delta Force. I'm just tired of every game trying to be Overwatch, adding abilities to their heroes, characters, whatever the fuck, I don't care. And at least in Delta Force, it's way less invasive, but it's still kind of meh. How's the gameplay? Good question. That's a really good question. Let's dive into that next. The gameplay is overall solid, but it feels like it needs to be cooked longer and it needs more work. The game feels unpolished at times, and especially in the movement mechanics. The movement is just clunky in this game. It feels janky, it feels clunky, it's unsatisfying at times. It's just the movement felt like one really big part of the game that was unpolished. And I know it was a beta, and I know they're going to be working on some more, but it feels like that needs to be the #1 thing they work on. The movement is rough in this game. It feels bad. Fuck it, I'm just gonna say it. The movement feels bad in this game. Don't get me wrong, the movement isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's something they could really refine to make this game much better. During the beta, we had access to 2 different maps. Both maps are okay. There's nothing really special about them. One's a desert map, one's a rock map. There you go. You have vehicles, you have basically all the works of a normal Battlefield game, except there's not really any destructible environments, at least none that I really noticed that wowed me, which is fine. The game is still really good. Overall, I think the multiplayer component of Delta Force is really fun. I had some good times with it. I played about 10-15 hours, somewhere around that ballpark, and I plan on playing the beta in December again. It's a really fun game. Yes, the movement isn't the best, and I gave it some shit for that, but I'm pretty sure they'll refine it later down the road. But for what it is right now, it's a pretty fun game, and it's a good competitor for Battlefield. If you're sick of Battlefield, this might be it for you. If you have an itch to play Battlefield but don't want to play Battlefield 2042, this might do it for you. I did say multiplayer component, which means there are other components. There's a campaign, which I have no idea what it's like yet. It wasn't in the beta, of course. And then they have an extraction mode, kind of like Escape from Tarkov. And I did not play a single match of this besides the tutorial, because I am low-key tired of extraction shooters. But I'll talk about what I did play in the tutorial and what I think of it, because actually it's not too bad. I should have played the game. It's my fault for not playing a match of it, but that's alright. I'll check it out in December. But yes, Delta Force 100% has an extraction shooter mode with loot and everything and all the bells and whistles of an extraction shooter, so it's cool. If you're into that thing, you can check that out. I really enjoy Delta Force, and I think the game has a lot of promise and potential. It's really fun. It's a fun Battlefield kind of game. If you're into that thing, then you're gonna have fun here. The only downside to this game is how the movement feels. It feels just janky, and other than that, this game is really solid. The gunplay is good, the netcode is pretty solid for what it is, and well-rounded product so far. The beta was pretty good. I'm excited for this game. I didn't really have it on my radar until I played the beta, but now it is, and I'm going to be checking out the next open beta in December. So yeah, if you're into this stuff, I definitely think you should check it out. It's going to be a free-to-play game anyways. Unfortunately, we know it's going to have microtransactions out the fucking ass as par for the course for these fucking games. There's a lot of progression. Even in the beta, I was unlocking new attachments, new weapons, leveling up, getting medals and achievements. There's a lot to click that dopamine in your brain. Janky movement aside, this is a very well polished game, very fun to play. Delta Force, it has a lot of promise, and I really think it's worth checking out, worth investing at least a little bit of your time into, and seeing what it's all about when it drops in December in open beta. I love shooters, I love Battlefield. Battlefield isn't hitting the right spot. Delta Force, not a bad replacement, I'll give it that. That's really all I have for you guys this week. I want to talk about Delta Force, and yeah, I did. So if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like it and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.